Hey everybody, welcome to episode 158 of the Rise or Die podcast, Pooping on a Volcano. You did hear that right. It's kind of a really funny story. So this past weekend, I was up on Volcano, which is actually the third largest volcano in all of Central America. It was really cool. We started at 6 a.m. on Saturday, and then we got back at like 1 p.m. on Sunday. It was a lot of fun, but really interesting. So there's this thing called altitude sickness. Now, on the way up the volcano, when we got to base camp, which is like 90-95% of the way up to the top, not quite at the summit, but almost there, on the way up, I felt perfectly fine. There was no issue whatsoever. The problem was the very next day. So we're up high, it's about 13,000 feet. We're probably at 11,500 or 12,000 feet. And I woke up in the morning and I felt like I was going to puke my guts out. Instead, I had a bigger issue. I needed to use the restroom. Now, we're on a volcano. There's no real restroom. Their version of a bathroom is a three-sided, three-walled, basically hole in the ground with porcelain on top. That's all it is, but it's really cool because it's facing the edge of the volcano and you can see the sunset. So, I was in trouble. They don't have toilet paper. It's basically a hole with porcelain over it. That's it. So, I came back with one less shirt. Bear with me, it gets funnier. So thank God for pocket knives. I always carry one with me. I came back with one less shirt because I had to resort to the worst way to go to the restroom in the world. I ended up slicing up a shirt and using it as toilet paper. Talk about vulnerable. I'm getting on YouTube and iTunes and talking to you guys about the most awkward shit I've ever taken. So let me take this further. I woke up, felt like absolute garbage. We didn't even make it to the top. My wife and I were so sick, we couldn't even finish to the top. I was really pissed off. So I woke up, cut my shirt up, had to use the restroom, and it was miserable. Went back to bed for a few, trying to get my mind back, trying to get my head on right, and my stomach killed me again. So I had to go back and cut up more of a shirt and use the restroom. But I started to notice something. So I was in so much pain, I was stressed out, I was feeling like garbage. I looked up and I saw the most beautiful sunrise in the world. I was so busy in my pain, misery, stress, feeling nauseous, yada, 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 and cutting up a shirt, that I almost missed the most beautiful sunrise. We're talking about coming over Guatemala. You could see Guatemala City way off in the distance. You could see Antigua, where I'm at now, in the distance, and you can see some other volcanoes in the distance, and it was really, really freaking cool, but I almost missed it all because my head was down, pants around my ankles, and I was cutting up a shirt. Really, really interesting situation. And what I realized in all of this was that because I had my head down in the weeds, I almost missed out the beauty around me. And this happens to me all the time. Think about in marriage. Okay, so I work my ass off every single day, without exception. But I work so much that sometimes I forget about the beauty in the marriage that I'm in. Or I miss out on the beauty around me when I'm walking around beautiful Antigua, Guatemala, and I'm not even absorbing what's around me. Instead, I have my head in my phone shooting off the next email to a client or prospect or whatever. Or when you're going for a run, but you're so miserable and you're hurting and you're in pain and you're trying to finish your run that you actually miss out the beautiful landscape around you. We lose perspective when our head is down in the weeds. We miss out on the joys in life. I got to have the most beautiful sunrise while taking a dump on the middle of a volcano in Guatemala. How many people can say that? It's pretty cool. Pretty embarrassing, but pretty cool. When we get our head out of the weeds, we're able to gain perspective. We're able to appreciate what's around us. What is the dump that you need to take? What is the stress that you need to take off your shoulders and start to appreciate what's around you? Invest in relationships that matter most. Invest in your health. What do you need to do to get to that point? It was kind of a wake-up call for me. Instead of sulking about the fact that I didn't even make it up to the top of the volcano, I got to learn how to appreciate what I did have, which was seeing the sun. The night before, I got to see the Milky Way galaxy in the sky. I got to see the stars. I got to see planets. It was really cool, like absolutely gorgeous. I almost missed the sunrise because I had my head down. Where's your head down in your life? Across body, being, balance, and business, where did you stick your head in the sand? You're busy working your ass off, and you're not actually appreciating what you do have. That's it for episode 158, taking a dump on the mountain. And that was not the right title. I forget what I titled it. My head is still stuck in the clouds right now. So with that being said, that's it for episode 158. As always, subscribe on YouTube, review on iTunes, and call it a day. That's the only way we're going to get the Rise or Die attitude out to as many people as possible.